everyone. This is ACDC, Araceli and Colette, the Dynamic Change. My name is Araceli, and I'm a transition wealth advisor. And I love helping professional women to rearrange their finances so they can get ahead quicker, maybe paying the debt sooner and retire faster. And I'm here with my partner, Colette, and we have a fantastic guest today. Colette, can you introduce yourself and our guest?
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Colette Raba. I am your real estate broker in the GTA West. I believe in helping people who are seeking real knowledge to make the best decisions when buying or selling a property in the GTA. I help families make smart decisions when buying or selling their homes, and investors know their numbers even before making an offer. So this is why we are here, why we do the show too, to give you great information. And we have a great guest where we are going to actually go through a real-time deal. Her name is Cheryl Small. She is a mortgage broker extraordinaire. So welcome, Cheryl. We're so glad you're back on. We do have her on once in a while to really talk about numbers because, like Araceli and I always say, you know, finances, money, you can't buy a property with popcorn. So that's why we need.
I wish I could.
We need, maybe you can, I don't know, I've never tried it myself, but you know, in today's market we're in, and just to give you a little update, if you don't know what the market is like right now, it is a very hot seller's market. Properties are selling very, very quickly. People are making bully offers. If you don't know what that is, please give us a shout or give me a shout. I can always go through the technical terms with anybody who's interested in buying in this kind of market. It's not easy. You have to be aggressive. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know your numbers ultimately. And that's why Cheryl is here to join us today. So welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you, guys.
Cheryl,
thanks for inviting me again.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to get into the subject today, which is affordability in Toronto.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me again today. I enjoy coming on the show. I'm Cheryl Small. I'm a mortgage agent for a company called Matrix Mortgage Global. We are a mortgage agent. We are a brokerage in the GTA area, and we are a full service brokerage, but our specialty is the alternative market, and we are private lenders as well. So I encourage everyone to ask their questions. And if I don't have the answer for you today, I'll be happy to get the answer for you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Well, one of the things that we've been asked to is how can we afford to buy something in the GTA? Like if you were going to start saving today for a property, how do you get in? So, Colette, can you tell us kind of like the segue on this? Like, what is the context that we found?
Sure.
Right?
Yes, I would love to. So, as you know, Araceli and I chit chat. We need content for the show. We always kind of figure out, you know, our ears are to the ground. We always like to talk to our clients, ask them what they need to know, but also what is kind of mainstream. And, you know, we look at the news articles. I get a lot of within the industry news as well. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that Araceli and I spoke about, and actually Cheryl, we have a little group, the three of us, on a personal note, that we love to really talk to each other about financing, about the real estate market, not just in the GTA, but also in the US, and try and figure out things that make sense to us, but at the same time, things that don't make sense to us. So we actually have, there's an article in Toronto Life recently, and I kind of, you know, made this ridiculous assumption that this woman actually, well, the way they wrote the article was all the information you need to make sense of it. And it really didn't make sense. So I went to Araceli and Cheryl and I said, hey, can you guys read this article? Because I've sort of come to the conclusion that something's not right, or it doesn't make sense to me. Can we talk about this? And so the three of us put our, you know, we're all professional women who have been in our industries for quite a while, and really to dissect what was going on in the article to make sense so we could explain it to you, the viewers. So to say, okay, yes, it's still possible to buy something affordable in the GTA, or they didn't tell us the whole story, and how do we get the rest of the information? So between the three of us, and especially Cheryl, we gave her the numbers that were in the article about this person. She's a single woman. Do you want to start with that one, Cheryl? Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah,
so Cheryl put down some numbers to actually figure out how this person can afford this property. So I'm going to let you take it away if that was a good enough explanation. I know it's kind of, but it's very confusing. Even that, my whole point is it was very confusing even for the three of us to get the whole story. So we've actually, Cheryl will go through the numbers that were given to us and the numbers that we had to find ourselves by deduction.
So one thing that you need to, you know, all the viewers is to look at, if you find an article that it promises something, but it doesn't give you enough detail, then there is something that you really need to discuss with a professional, whether it's a mortgage broker, a realtor, or a financial advisor, to find the real truth about it. So go ahead, Cheryl, tell us exactly what it is so that you found.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just go to my slide. I've got two slides that we can talk about. Okay,
excellent. And then again, if anybody has any questions about this scenario, about this kind of so we wanted to show you a real-time,
and with all the details, because that's important.
Right, with all the details. And this person purchased in February of this year, so it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
So, and we can reference the article too if you want to read the actual article, so you can see how the numbers all work out.
Okay, so I'll get started. So I won't give you all the background with the article. You need to read the article, but basically a young woman was buying a property for $380,000, a condo. So you see here, I've put, she's had $380,000 as the purchase price. She had a down payment saved of $20,000. Now, keep in mind, there might be some things we don't know. So we've just had to assume certain things for this example here. So because she was putting down $20,000, she wanted to be approved on the A bank side. She wanted to put down only 5%. So for anyone who, just quickly, if you're putting down less than 20%, then you are on the A side, and you can do so, but you have to be approved by one of the three insured lenders, okay? So she put down $20,000 for mortgage insurance. So when you put down less than 20,000, when you put down less than 20%, you have to pay mortgage loan insurance, okay? So that is a percentage that is figured out. So for her, it was $14,400 that she would have to pay on top of her mortgage payment for her mortgage loan insurance. After the deduction of her down payment and adding back her mortgage loan insurance, which is spread out over the life of the mortgage, her loan amount was $374,000. The condo was bought in Scarborough, Ontario. She had verifiable income. And what I mean by verifiable income, that means that she had a job. She gets a pay stub from someone. She's not self-employed. That's what verifiable income means. She would have to make $80,000 a year in order to qualify in the A space to get this condo in her name. She would have to have good credit, and that would be anything with 680 and above to qualify in the A space and to get this insured mortgage.
So 680 is a credit score.
680 is her beacon, is her FICO score.
Okay, and how do people find that out?
So your FICO score, that's something you should be checking yearly, if not more often. We have 2 credit bureaus in Canada that you should be getting your FICO score from each year at a minimum. Okay?
Yeah, so people can do that even if you're not looking for property right now. You can always get your credit score, sometimes even for free. There's Credit Karma.
Once a year, you can get your FICO score from TransUnion and from Equifax for free. You can also pay to monitor that, and you can get that at any time you wish to. You can pay for it. And it's a great idea to always be on top of your credit score. Your credit is golden.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I can tell you, I do have the monitoring, and I get my credit score checked out every 6 months. And they also tell me if there is any activity that is
fraud.
fraudulent
Yes.
in any of my accounts. So
Absolutely. So it's very good to have. And I think people don't understand just how golden their credit is. Without good credit, you're immobilized. You can't do anything. So you really need to keep your credit in good standing.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring it up. So that's why
Yeah,
I'm
that's a good point. Thank you.
now the one thing that I've noticed here is that the debt's at zero. This is
Yes. Now,
somebody that is very, very diligent. And in the majority of cases, you will not have that.
Well, she was
right.
living with her parents. So she's
Yeah,
a younger woman. Her
that's
parents were
great.
probably
Yeah.
paying for whatever, how many months. And because it is COVID, like this is something that, we're not really going anywhere. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
back in with your
It's
parents.
actually a great time for people to cut back in a lot of expenses and save that money if they wish to purchase a property. So that's what this woman did.
Yeah, I think if you get a chance to read the article, and if you link it, people can read the article. But she really sort of hunkered down. She cut out so many things. She really stepped up her savings, and she really cut out all the debt. So in this example, the only way that I can see that she was able to do this was really to cut out all of those debts. So for the purpose of this example, there's no additional debts. But of course, this is just a scenario. When
Right.
we are talking about your scenario, you may have credit cards, you may have a car loan, you may have other things that will
Full debt.
factor, right?
Yeah.
So continuing along, she has zero debts and buying this property at 380,000, funding 374 after her down payment and adding back her mortgage insurance. She was going to be making a mortgage payment of $1,591 a month. We qualified her at 4.79, which is the Bank of Canada qualifying rate. We factored in an interest rate of the average interest rate is about 2.04, 5-year fixed term, 25-year amortization. So after we look at the 1595 monthly rate, we also had to make an estimate at her other expenses. The property taxes, 201.84 a month, heat, $50 a month, and condo fees of $435 a month. Now, condo fees are all over the place. You get condo fees that are much higher than that, and you've got some that are less. So we're just going on average. Her total monthly costs would be $2,278, which, if you read the article, is well within what she could afford. Okay,
Only go back to the gross income. So only if she made $80,000.
$80,000.
Individual, right? So and this is really what they didn't say in the article was how much she was making. So
Right.
$80,000 for one person, especially a younger person, might not be that attainable.
Yeah, it's a lot.
They were educated and they have a really good job. But it is very attainable for a couple or two people. So let's say two sisters or two siblings that want to buy a property and they want to live together for whatever the interim to actually be able to afford something and build their credit, build their wealth in real estate. This is actually very possible. So in my opinion, I think $80,000, even for one person or two people to be able to afford this is possible. So I'm really glad we went through this scenario because I got a phone call. I think that's what it all started with was I got a phone call from a possible client to say, how much do I need to earn to be able to afford a property? And, this is the other thing too. People think that they can just go and start looking for houses that are whatever, 3,000 square feet. Yes, if you want to go and live in the States, you can afford it. Sure. For $380,000 in a lot of places, you can buy a mansion for that amount of money, but it doesn't make any sense if you're not working there. So, location. I hate to say that.
That's right.
Can I also add, ladies, one thing we also have to keep in mind is, again, we did not talk about in this scenario here, when you are buying a home, you must also be prepared for your closing costs. Okay.
Right, exactly.
That's very true. So
Yeah. What is it? What do you tell people? 1 to 2%?
So I usually tell people on the safe side about 3% of the purchase price for the closing costs, because you don't know what can come up any which way. Because keep in mind, you also have to pay taxes when you're purchasing your property. You are paying your land transfer taxes as well, right? So keep that in mind. And if you are in somewhere like Toronto, you may have double taxes to pay as well.
Yeah.
And when you're a first-time home buyer, and I can speak to you later about this if you wish, I'm happy, anyone that would like to contact me. When you're a first-time home buyer, there are a number of incentives that you can get. So keep that in mind. And when you come to me, every situation is unique in itself, and we can talk about whatever rebates or whatever incentives that might be available to you, right? So keep that in mind as well. But always keep in mind you've got your down payment and you have got your closing costs that are things that you have to have there in the bank. You have to have your down payment in the bank at least 90 days prior so that we can see the paper trail of where that money has come from.
Very good point. The other thing too, sorry, Araceli, the other thing too that I want everybody to remember, that if you want to go out and see condos or houses, personally, I don't show any houses until you have your financing figured out. So there is no time to mess around in this kind of market, or even in a regular market, because the buyers, the sellers, the first thing they're going to ask is, are they pre-qualified? So this is something that when you look at a realtor, ask them, or, if you're asking me, I have a team. I have my preferred vendors that I like to deal with, like Cheryl, like Araceli. If you're not ready to buy, I send you to Araceli because she can get you ready for the process. Because once you're in the process, it's fast. You have to have the money, cash on hand. And sometimes closing is 30 days, and it's very difficult for lawyers. You have to have the right type of lawyers, mortgage brokers, lenders, to put, and inspectors too. Inspectors are very, very important through this whole process, so you don't get stuck.
Yeah. And that's all a part of the closing costs. When I say closing costs and I give a variance, there's things, there's moving costs, there's taxes, there's you have to have an appraisal done.
The appraisal too.
Appraisal, right? Appraisal and inspection and all these different things that all. It's not just a matter of I can buy that and then I'm moving in and it's all done. No,
there's a lot of steps to go before you actually move in, and to keep safe through the whole process takes time and energy, and you have to be ready. It's not, like you said, it's not overnight. Doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes, especially now with lenders and COVID, things are taking quite a long time. So to have that closing date, and to make sure that if you're dealing, let's say you're a buyer and you're dealing with the seller, sellers have to be a little flexible with you as well, to make sure that if you can close, if you can't close on time, if there's a little flexibility on closing, this is all things that you have to talk about before you actually sign on the dotted line. It can be very hairy. We don't want to scare you. And when you work with the right type of people, we'll keep you safe as much as we can, and always give you as much information as we can.
Now, do you want me to show you the other example?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment something before you take this slide out, Cheryl. This particular woman in the article, she said that she moved out. She was already renting a place for $1,400. So what you can see, the mortgage payment was almost similar.
Yeah.
So she moved in with her parents for about a year. So she saved that $1,400 a month, plus she also reduced some other expenses that she had, like transportation, and also some going out activities that she used to spend money on. So she ended up saving $2,000 a month. So now this is obviously for the short time. In a year, she was able to put $24,000, and she had already a little bit of RSP that they don't say how much that she took for the closing cost. So that's how she was able to put this together. So it is possible, but it takes a lot of planning and a little bit of sacrifice. If you're
I would say definitely a lot of sacrifice. I mean, when people come to me, they really have to understand that they've got to really tighten their belt. They have to really put a lot of things aside and really make this
Yeah, I
priority.
agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
And
one
the
of
other
the,
thing too
yeah,
is don't buy anything between the time, like, people get excited and they go, oh, I need a new sofa and I need a
Yes.
new
yeah,
appliance, and before they close. And, like, that's a big no-no. Don't go crazy and buy between the purchase time, the time that you sign the deal and you close.
Because that could affect your credit.
Buy anything, nothing over, let's say, what, a couple $100. Like, do your regular, pay your bills.
yeah, that's it.
Buy your groceries. That's it. No.
Yeah, exactly. So, really to tighten your belts,
Yeah.
not just beforehand, but also during the process too. Don't go crazy. You never know what's going to happen.
So one of the things that I always, when I work with my clients, especially in their saving period, is to make them understand that they're not only going to transfer what they used to pay in rent, and it's going to be similar. No, you have other costs, whether it's condo fees, property taxes, insurance. You're going to have a little bit of maintenance fees to go over in the new place that is going to add to whatever you're paying for rent today. So that is one of the things that people need to be aware. Just
Right.
do a projection of what it's going to cost you to be living on that property, and make sure that it is in line with the money that is coming in.
Right.
So
And
that is very, very important.
if you
Well,
do
that's
work
one of the
with
things.
people like Araceli or me, we actually go through that process beforehand and give you a spreadsheet to say, hey, these are your expenses. This is what you're getting ready to do. And really, you might not be able to afford
Yeah.
whatever that fancy purse. Whatever.
That's right.
What do you want? Do you want to get into real estate, and do you really want to be an investor and live in your place that you're investing in? Invest in yourself, or do you really need that fancy whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Cheryl, can you show us the next example?
So before I jump to the other example, so keep in mind what this example was someone who belonged in the A space.
Yeah.
So the A space is the top banks, okay? And she was able to qualify after being stress tested to put only 5% down. But this other example is for someone who has to go to the B banks or the alternative bank. And the reason they have to go to the alternative bank, possibly, they don't have qualifiable income. So maybe they're in business for self. Maybe they have a job where they get commissions. Maybe they have a job where they are just, they get money under the table, and we have to look at alternative sources of verifying their income.
Okay, so how would somebody be able to qualify with a lower income? Because we just looked at $80,000.
So this one here, if you have a lower income, but you still have what I would call verifiable, you have income that we can do, we can check your bank statements to see what your income is. So your bank statements will prove to us, along with your notice of assessment, and maybe sometimes we'll look at some other documents, but it's mostly your bank statement. Mm-hmm. You will have to go to a B bank, and we will require that you have 20% down. So there is no option. The B banks will only finance you up to 80% loan to value. So I need 20% from you. So in this case, this person only made $50,000, which isn't a lot, but we're saying at $50,000, I need you to save $66,000 down payment for just the down payment portion. And then remember, I just said, then you're going to need maybe 2 to 3% for closing costs. So that gives you an idea of what you're working with. But if we go back to this example here, they can purchase a property, a condo, for $330,000 max, $66,000 down payment. You remember with the other person, she had to have mortgage insurance, and she needed mortgage insurance because she was putting down less than 20%. She was only putting down 5%. And this person, they're going to put down their 20%. No mortgage insurance is needed. So you've got none there. After the purchase price minus the down payment, her loan is actually $264,000. So this condo can be purchased in Scarborough as well. They have an alternative lender that will verify and that will approve this loan. $50,000. So I think a lot of people could qualify for $50,000 with that sort of income. $330,000. Colette, you're the realtor. I don't know how many properties they could really find with that. Maybe an older condo. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the funny thing too, because even though you have, when Cheryl and I work together, it's not just about the purchase price, but it's also about the monthly maintenance fees. So you have to cover that nut. So here Cheryl has 1822. So if you know that you can happily, or it's comfortably to pay that 1822 a month, that's something that you always have to consider. And when the price of the condo is lower, it usually means the condo fees are higher. So that the overall picture has to be, unfortunately we can't, every condo is different. That's what I was going to say too. With condo fees, sometimes everything is included. You don't have to pay extra heat. You don't have to pay hydro. It's all included depending on your monthly maintenance fee. What does that include? Every condo is different. So
now you'll notice here, I just want to point this out. Because this is in the B space, the qualifying rate is now 5.59 because the interest rate is 3.59 and my qualifying rate is 2 points above that.
Right. So this is another myth that when you see those ads of seeing those mortgage rates at 1.5 and 1 point whatever, that is not true. Even though they might give you that rate for a short term, it's also not. You have to qualify. You have to be so high up on, there's the protocol that Cheryl will go through with you as far as how much you're earning, how much you're actually saving, how much
your credit score is very important as well.
Right. How
this
much
is where your credit score.
Exactly. So it's a really big picture. And, as much as we would love to explain everything, and that's why we did this scenario for you, every person is different. And how much debt you have, that's something that we have to, it's a very specific custom plan for you specifically. So that's why I always talk to a mortgage broker. They have the difference between a mortgage, if I can say, the difference between a mortgage broker and let's say if you go directly to a bank, a mortgage broker will actually give you different lenders. So they can go to a B lender, they can go, so if you just go to the bank and they say no, and then you say, okay, well, I guess it's a no. But if you go through a mortgage broker, they can actually tell you if you go with an A lender, if you can qualify for an A lender, if you qualify for a B lender. There are other things you can do. And that's why I love working with mortgage brokers.
Yeah. And just to know, with this was a 5-year term, 30 years amortization, whereas the other one was 25-year amortization. Property taxes, heat, condo fees were the same. But as Colette said, when you get into different units and different scenarios, those things will fluctuate. I use that number, but it will fluctuate. And at the end of the day, this is $18.22 a month, but you have to look at the entire picture. It's not just one thing you're looking at. Can I afford this?
Well, and then if you, and we don't want you to be upset by looking at this interest rate of 3.6%. Oh my goodness. Or 3.59. This is amazing. This is a great, when I bought my first house, I think I was paying 14%.
Oh yeah.
So really anything under, whatever, 7-8%. Oh my gosh. Like that, like take it. It's great.
I think a lot of people are coming in with unrealistic expectations. People come to me and they say, I want 1 point whatever. And I say, you know what? The reality is I am working in your best interest. I'm going to find you the best fit wherever you land, whether it's the A space, B space. And I do even have people who go to the private space because again, it fits for their scenario. They may not have a job that is something that they are putting in taxes for. So they are in a different category. They're really alternative. And we have to have areas in which we could fund for them. So the private space would work. But every scenario is different. Every one I look at, and I'm working in your best interest to do what's best for you. And I want people to understand rate isn't everything. Don't be clouded by the rate. It's not just the rate. It's more than that.
Yeah.
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 This is amazing. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for sharing this. This will give our viewers pretty much a big picture, even though they're not your exact numbers, but it can tell you all of the little things that you need to factor in, that they're very important to make a decision. And of course, in order to get your actual numbers, you need to speak to a mortgage agent or a mortgage broker that can help you actually go through it, because we're just taking an average credit score of 600 in this case, but if your score is higher, then the rate might be a little bit lower.
Right.
So all of these things can help.
Yeah. So if you're not ready to buy yet, but you are interested in moving forward, the easy things that you can do right now is boost your credit score. And what else?
Save. You're
Talk to
saving.
Araceli.
Yes, absolutely.
She'll put your budget together.
Working on that budget and really crunching down and saving, because this is something that most people don't understand. They got to really fix that credit, save, and save again, and then really working with someone like Araceli to get their budget in check.
Right. And like, this is, honestly, to look at from a positive perspective, we have never had a better time in history to make extra money. There is, you can sell stuff on even Facebook, marketplace. You can get a second job, in the retail space, if you really have weekends free, whatever your job description is. Don't discount if you have the energy to work and you really want to buy. Listen, we all know that real estate prices are not going down. They might have a little blip here and there, but when you look at the forecasting of all the bigger, the higher end, higher ups of the real estate industry and in the banking industry, they are saying, you think that real estate prices are high now? Just wait. And they've been saying this for at least 5 years, where they knew this was coming. They didn't know COVID was happening, but they knew it was coming. And to really look at how we are as a global market, Toronto and the GTA is still very affordable. So yes, you have to compete.
Do you want to stop sharing, Cheryl?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you still have to compete with outside buyers, but when it comes down to actually making the effort to really buy something, you can start, you can do it. We've just proven there's 2 scenarios that even if you buy a condo, you can still have as market rent. $1,800 is not unheard of to pay for rent these days. So really, would you rather pay someone else's mortgage or your own mortgage?
Absolutely. And there's another thing on that, the same thing, Colette, not only making more money now, but also spending a lot less. We're driving less. We are doing less entertainment. We're going out less. So all of these expenses, put them aside, like if you were still doing them, and put a chunk of money, save it somewhere. If it is for a property, that you'll see the return quite quickly.
Right.
Quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't, as you said, or Colette, don't discount joining forces with a sibling or a mother or father, or you might get gifted. I get people who are gifted something from another family member. So they're all different ways in which you can get into that market.
I heard a joke the other day. It was, what's the best bank these days?
Mom and dad, right?
Bank of mom and dad. Yes, that's it. That's the best bank right now.
I wish I had that. I didn't.
Yeah, so would I.
But
I know, and I know my kids. My time is ticking, because I know those kids are going to be asking me.
Mommy, maybe you want to adopt me.
I can't afford the kids I have.
Oh no. Okay.
No, but that's the thing. Even as parents, of course, I want to help them. Of course, I want to take whatever equity. So, again, this is sort of a side note, but something that people, if you do want to help your kids, this is something that I've started to do. I have a renter in my basement. I have an income property. I've put a HELOC on my house to actually be able to afford to buy even another property if I can, and use it as a rental property. So all these things, it's all timing. It didn't happen overnight. It took me years to get to this place.
Yeah.
But I always had a goal in mind, and I had the thought process of, look, I believe in what I do. I love real estate. I love buying. The one thing my dad taught me was hold on, hold it, don't sell. So if it makes sense, even in whatever, a 5-year goal, 10-year goal, whatever it is, you work towards that goal and you can make it. It's not easy. It's not comfortable. I'm not wearing the fanciest clothes, I have to be honest, but I can do it. And hopefully when the time comes in a couple of years, I will be able to help my kids because of the decisions I made 5-10 years ago.
Exactly. And you have to stay the course. That's another thing that a lot of people think that it is easy and that, oh, you can make a lot of money. Over time, you can, but at the same time, it takes a while, first of all, to acquire the skills, to understand what you're doing, to make sure that you work with the right people, the right professionals, and that you can trust, and that you can start putting that portfolio of properties that start paying you. And this actually takes us to the next episode that we're going to be talking about how a lot of people, because of the fear of missing out, they're buying things that are not cash flowing. And we're going to look at that, if that is in your best interest financially or not. So we'll discuss more of that in the next episode.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited about that one because I have like awesome scenarios that we want to talk about, because this is the thing. There's no point in just saying, you know, this make-believe kind of thing, but actual real-time scenarios that we can go through with you so you can understand. And again, if this is way too high level for you, we try to simplify it as much as we can. And thank you, Cheryl, for putting that together. Because really the people, whoever's watching this, they can go back to the slide, they can pause it, they can read the numbers, they can understand it. And if you still have questions about it, please call us. We would love to talk to you. Either all three of us, any of us.
I'm happy. I help a lot of people just go through the numbers. If you decide it's not time, that's okay. I'm all right. I can still help you. I'm still happy to help you.
Right.
I think the most important thing is exactly when you're talking to a mortgage broker is that you can figure out what is your score, because sometimes that's what it takes longer. Believe me, work on your score, work with a financial advisor to put things in place, a budget, and see how you can start saving and improve your credit score while you are saving, because that will save you on interest rate. It might be the difference between qualifying from an A lender versus a B lender.
It absolutely is, because to be in the A space, when everyone comes to me thinking that they are an A client, and when we go through all the different things, there's specific guidelines to being an A client. And a lot of people just aren't there. And the credit is one of the things, the strongest things they can do. Credit and a good solid income, a good solid job. You're not flipping around from job to job. You are solid in your income.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that really makes a big difference.
Well, that's great. Well, Cheryl, we really want to thank you for sharing your wisdom with us and putting it in a way that is very understandable, very easy to look at. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Do you have any final comments, Colette?
You know what? I get so excited about real estate, and Cheryl and Araceli, we're all in the same kind of mindset where we want to help people so badly that we want to give as much information as we can. So please don't ever hesitate to ask us, even if you think, oh, it's a stupid question, I should know it. Honestly, every day I get questions from my active clients and my non-active and just people in general asking me stuff. And I love it. And this is one of the things that we all enjoy about the business, because we are really here for you. We want to see you succeed. So please, like, any questions, like, keep them coming. We love to answer.
Well, thank you so much, you guys, for being here. And we will see you in the next episode. Don't miss it, because it's going to be a really good one. Okay.
Thanks for having me, ladies.
Bye. Bye, Cheryl. Bye, Colette.
Bye.
Thanks.